So grab your corset. Your corsets. Okay.
Your corsets.
Grab your corsets.
grab your corsets. Let's go.
Okay. So grab your corsets.
Grab your corsets.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. Wait, no. It's so dry here. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Good day and welcome to Two Girls, One Corset, the podcast where we dive deep into the world of period dramas, from bodice-ripping romance to scandalous court intrigue.
I'm Mags, your resident historical costumier and hopeless romantic.
And I'm Kaylin, a public historian and self-proclaimed Bridgerton maiden. Despite my great passion for history and drama, I get to watch a single episode of Bridgerton.
And that's exactly what we're going to do on this podcast. Watch and review each episode of Bridgerton, giving our unique perspectives on the characters, costumes, and historical intrigues.
So grab your corsets, boil yourself a cuppa, and join us as we take a trip back in time to Regency-era England with Two Girls, One Corset. Let's get started. Hello, everybody.
Hi, Kaylin. How are you doing?
I'm so sleepy. Dear listeners, I've just traveled from merry old England back to the US, and I'm feeling it. So I'll be a little loopy today, but that'll make for content, right?
She'll be loopier than normal. I don't know how much that says.
I mean, to be fair, that's true.
Well, it's exciting. Kaylin is on another continent, and we're talking, and it's great, y'all.
Yeah.
We're here to talk about Bridgerton, and we're gonna try to wrap it out quickly, because Kaylin has business to deal with, and with business, I mean family.
Yes, the most important business of all. And Mags is also researching girly at the moment, and she's got some big projects she's working on too, so we're gonna keep this tight for you
well
guys.
Hopefully it's a smaller project, because it's supposed to be a novella and not actually a novel. Because I set myself a deadline for my Horace Walpole project, but then I also found another project I want to do because I have no chill, and that's just the theme of our life, really. I feel like it's not just me, it's you too.
That's the way it be.
And on top of that, I also have a deadline for the Regency costume that I'm making. So I'm currently, actually, as I'm recording this podcast, gonna be transparent, I'm sitting stitching the sleeve. So it's also just to get me to shut up a little bit from time to time, so Kaylin can talk. She is stressed, but she looks hot while she's
instead of
stressed,
saying,
so
ooh, multi-pack, like in what we do in the shadows, it's, ooh, multitask.
Ooh, multitask. This is really, like we say, this is a Regency Bridgerton podcast, but truly it's just a Taika Waititi appreciation podcast.
It really is, but...
It really is.
Taika
Waititi for life.
The day will come when he directs a period drama set in Regency England one day, and we will be so ready.
Can he direct Bridgerton season 4, and it's Benedict's season, and Benedict falls in love with an Andor?
Oh my gosh. I would freaking love that.
I would watch that.
Let's get a Kickstarter going, folks. This is what I want.
Let's get yep, this is all I want now, because I can't take Bridgerton serious after season 3. Sorry, listeners.
Oh gosh.
If you haven't watched it yet.
Not Colin mewing throughout like the whole season. It's good to be back.
It's good to be back.
I made
Jeez. Yeah, no, it was a rough season. It's only been half the season at the time of recording. It has probably come out when this episode comes out, so you, future me and future listener, will know a whole lot more than I do. Maybe they save it, but so far, I doubt it. So hey, but yeah, well, we're not talking about season 3 today, are we, Kaylin?
We are not. We're talking about season 1, episode 7, Oceans Apart.
Ooh. Oceans Apart! Pa. And we are opening up with a gun versus piano smackdown battle for the crown. I don't know. That was Drag Race reference for you. It's not going to be a lot of those because I'm pretty sick of Drag Race as well. But yeah, they are fighting with who can be the loud. I don't know what the point, but it seems like they're just fighting, and the servants are just like in between, and I'm like, wow, they are really children of divorced parents.
Yeah, it's so like it's just so passive aggressive, like slamming the door so she can play the piano and stuff. And like, of course, they've been through, as we discussed in the previous episode, they've been through something really quite, excuse me, like really quite tense. And yeah, I can understand why there is tension, but just if you saw this particular scene kind of without that context, it just feels kind of like roommate drama, like from back in uni.
Wow, you must have had some spicy roommate drama.
Oh gosh, I had the worst. But we do not have, that's another podcast. We do not have time to get into it.
Yeah. It's the roommate drama podcast.
Yeah, let's just say my uni roommates, they were either some of the best people I ever met or some of the worst people I've ever met. And yeah.
Well,
No
at
in
least
between.
it's polarized, I suppose.
Easy enough.
Well, they are just fighting it out, and meanwhile, back in London, Colin is in a scandal,
Yes, so
and
everybody's
people
been
are stressed.
abuzz. Everybody's stressing because now we know about Marina's condition. Colin is laying forlornly on the bed. Seems like no one in the Bridgerton universe is ever going to be happy again.
No, never. Never, ever, ever. And Violet and Eloise go to the modiste, and they're trying to drop Eloise hems so she can be taken to society for the next season. I don't understand why Eloise is being such a brat about it, but hey, it's Eloise. She desperately wants us to pick her without actually telling us she wants to be picked. But everyone in the modiste are kind of like avoiding the Bridgertons, like very directly.
Yeah, and like Eloise also says, like, oh, the debut could be pushed back for a few years because the scandal will surely, cause too much disruption and,
So honestly, the person who is happiest in the Bridgerton house right now is probably Eloise, because she said, "Oh my gosh, that means that I can have to wait. Huzzah! How lovely!
Yeah.
How lovely indeed!"
And so Lady Bridgerton just tells them to keep on smiling, but Eloise wonders if a smile is going to be enough to save the Featheringtons because her friend Penelope and her sisters are not to blame necessarily for what's been happening with their parents and with Marina, but of course a scandal like that will affect the whole family. So when they go out in society, they're pariahs, people don't want to talk to them, or if they do, they have rather nasty things to say.
Yeah, no, for sure. And we get a little glimpse into the Featherington house, and it seems that they are plotting to send away Marina to give birth to the child. And I'm just like, why wasn't this done earlier?
Yeah, that should have been the plan the whole time.
That should have been the plan the whole time. Send her to Switzerland or something. Like, just send her away, because then this wouldn't have been a problem.
Yeah,
but hey, we're all wise in perspective, I suppose. But yeah, that's what they're scheming right now. Colin is still kind of half obsessed with Marina, saying, "I still want to marry her. I don't care, Mom. It's not a face, Mom." Oh, you know the energy, dear listener. But Violet wants to pretend like nothing has happened, like he was never engaged, he has never met Marina, nothing has happened, everything is fine, because that's how we deal with problems, am I right, Kaylin?
Absolutely. And then our diamond of the season arrives back home to provide her assistance with everybody. She's traveled back with Simon, but she made sure to request the biggest carriage they had so she could have as much space away from him as possible.
Which is very sassy, and like, look who's talking. Sorry, we are just really mad at Daphne right now.
Yeah, I would want space for you too, Daphne, because like I don't trust you.
You're a rapist.
You're a predator.
I don't trust you. Well, Daphne has some alone time with her brother, and Colin has been full on delusional. Like, I just wrote, Colin is Delulu in the drawing room with Daphne. That's the note I made. And Daphne's like making a valid point. It was like, hey, Marina's a stranger. Like, obviously she's been lying to you. And it sounds like it's puppy love. Like, come on, dude. But he's just retorting with, hey, she is not a stranger. yeah. But then Colin also suspects something is up with Daphne.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
And
Which, you know.
they're trying to find a way that they can sort of paper over all of their issues all at once. So they're looking to see if there is an event coming up that the Duke and the Duchess of Hastings can make an appearance on, where
Yeah.
and if everybody's still dazzled by them, then people will move on from shaming the Bridgerton family for this. So they say that the Queen is holding a luncheon. I've always found the word luncheon very, very funny. It's there's nothing wrong with the word. It's just luncheon. I don't know.
It's so
It
posh.
is
I
so
mean, I
posh.
want
I
to go
love
to
it.
a luncheon, but it always ends up being like we're never hungover, Caitlin or I, but it's still like that's kind of the energy we end up in.
I,
Not like a luncheon,
yeah.
but like a
Honestly,
drunction.
after waking up from the jet lag and stuff today, I feel like this is probably the closest I'll get to being hungover. Dear listeners, the humidity level is a lot more dry where I am, so I woke up this morning like SpongeBob in that one episode where he goes to Sandy's dome and there's no water there, and he's like, Sandy, I need water.
Yeah, that sounds like you.
Yeah, basically.
Freaking, I love humidity, y'all. I spent a little bit too much time in Utah than I'd actually care to admit, and bruh, it's too dry. Too dry.
It is
I
rough.
love humidity. Keep me moist. Moisturize me. That's one for our Doctor Who fans. Well, Daphne also suggests that she should chaperone Colin to Marina in secret so they can, like, have it out and get closure, because honestly, closure is so important. Even in a scandal, closure,
Mm-hmm. So
closure.
I do appreciate that they're taking that step. And
Simon is having it out in the gym with Will.
Will eventually, like, tells Simon to slow down because he needs to save his energy, and he at this point is very well aware of the fact that half the time Simon goes to have a spar with him, it's just because he's repressing something. So he's like asking
Yeah,
him like, what's
seriously.
going
Will
on,
is
dude?
like,
And
can I
Simon's like,
not?
nothing happened.
Nothing happened, it's fine. And Will is just like, yeah, right, bruh.
Yeah, like,
But
your
yeah.
friends know you.
Well, Daphne is full on spying on Simon from her room as he comes home. And she is so sassy and says, "Is this what a marriage will be like?"
And whose fault is that?
I know, and it's like, bro, you raped him, and then he says, "There's nothing left in our marriage," which is like, yeah. I mean, there's just so much weird tension in this scene. I don't know what they're trying to do, but it's just so awkward, and they also kiss for some reason.
They do, and then she eventually is just like, we should go back to the bedroom. And the look on his face broke my heart because he genuinely looks terrified.
Yeah, seriously, like, it's just full of disgust and mistrust, and it just felt really unnecessary, that whole, like, him feeling her up on the stairs. I was like, can we, yeah, no, thank you. This is really awkward.
Also, you're in your
I don't know what they're
family
trying
house.
to
Like, what if,
prove.
I don't know, what if all of a sudden
No,
Hyacinth... Oh.
It's no. This is at his house in London.
I thought they were staying at the Bridgerton house for some reason. I was like, what are you
No.
doing? This is
No.
your family house. Like, Hyacinth
Yeah,
could walk
no,
up the
it's not.
stairs.
It's weird, but not that weird.
Okay, good. I mean, so sorry. My thought kind of broke partway through
Don't
there,
worry.
but yeah. So they're having this discussion about what will happen, and Simon tells Daphne that if she happens to be with child from their last night spent together, he will stay and support the child. But of course, it'll be just sort of a standard loveless marriage. But if she's not married, or if she's not with child, then they'll go off to live separately. That he'll provide for her, but he is never going to actually see her. And so,
yeah, which is so fair. It's so fair.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, we're supposed to think that it's not healthy, but honestly, it is.
And
it's healthier.
Pretty par for, as we'll learn later in the episode too, it's pretty par for the course for a lot of marriages in this time.
It is. But yeah, so well, Colin and Daphne with Marina. Marina admits that she is pregnant because Colin, like, it was full on disbelief. And no one guided me in the right direction. No one helped me, is what Marina says. Because her demeanor now towards Colin is not flirty and cute. It's, like, very honest.
Mm-hmm.
And I just really feel that the world has failed Marina. Like, the
Absolutely.
dude she had an affair. What's his name? Not Sir
George.
Philip. I can't remember. George. He, like, everybody just failed her.
Mm-hmm.
Her father, her cousins, everyone has just failed her. So it's just, she's a very interesting character, honestly.
Yeah.
But now Colin is Colin's turn to be an asshat about it because, you know, he's just being really rude to her, but I kind of also understand the frustration and the sadness because she's gone from being like puppy love towards him to now just being full on honest with everything. So I see where both of them are coming from, and it's actually an interesting relationship.
It is, and I did find it really interesting the way Colin said, like, he said, like, the most sad thing about it was that, if she had come to him and explained her situation, that he would have been willing to, like, work through it. And I was like, oh, wow.
Which I wonder if he actually would, but still, yeah, no, it's very progressive from
I want to
Colin,
believe
like,
him
Fartface.
when he says that, because he, you know, to be honest, despite the little things I get annoyed with him about, he seems relatively, like, you know,
he's very earnest.
Yeah.
Like, I think I like season 1. Season 1 Colin is the best Colin, I'd say. Like, he only gets worse from here. Season 2 Colin sucks. Season 3 Colin makes me want to gag. But season 1 Colin, like, he's just very young. I'm assuming that he's, like, fairly fresh out of university at this point in the plot. It is what it is. Well, at the Queen's luncheon, there's so much happening at this luncheon, and I don't even know where to begin, honestly. Like, holy cow. Isn't it lovely to be all together again, Violet says. And I can't remember who says it, but they say maybe we should tempt scandal more often.
I mean, if it gets the family back together, I guess. Oh, R.I.P. Violet Bridgerton, you would have loved Thanksgiving. She's not dead, but that's just a meme format that's going around. But
I mean, Violet Bridgerton is hopefully dead.
Yeah, at this point, she's unstoppable.
At this point,
she's immortal. Okay. She's
actually powerful. No. So here's the universe: is that Nandor turns Violet into a vampire.
Oh right, okay, yeah, I can roll with this.
Yeah, and it's just, like, kind of weird because Benedict. That's, like, the struggle in their love story. Is that Nandor? What am I saying? Benedict finds that kind of rude.
Mm-hmm.
That's, like, the struggle of their love story.
We'll be posting this on AO3 shortly afterwards, so stay tuned, listeners.
So actually, Violet is still alive, and she does very much love Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm. Yes, so Simon and Daphne are putting on the little quote-unquote happy couple mask for everybody, and everybody's going up to her, and they're like, oh, isn't it so wonderful to be married? And they're like, yeah, it's great. And then the Queen goes up, and she does not help the situation, and she asks them if they've, you know, like, basically if Daphne's with child yet, and they're like, well, we've been working on it. And she's like, well, I've made a bet, I think it was like 50 guineas or something, that they would have a baby by the end of the year. And so she's like, you better hurry so I don't lose that bet. And then when the Queen,
honestly, the more I watch Bridgerton, and the more I think about she's probably one of also the most interesting characters in Bridgerton.
Oh my gosh, absolutely.
And most interesting recurring character. Because when you watch this in season 1, you're just kind of like, haha, funny. But, like, the amount of interest she puts into people that probably shouldn't interest her that much it's just very interesting to me. She's a very interesting character, and then especially in season 3, which we will get to in like 500 years, but we will get there, dear listeners.
And we will have fun discussing that for sure.
Will it be fun, or will it be actually horrifying? Maybe we'll just do one episode that's season 3 so we can forget that it ever existed, ever happened.
Put it all in one. But I think from a listener standpoint, it'll be fun to listen to, because it'll just be us screaming into the mics for however long we end up going at it.
Yeah.
So, going back to our darling Benedict. Benedict runs into Henry Renville again, or Granville. I forget exactly what his name is, but Henry tells Benedict. Oh, yes. Okay, so Henry tells Benedict that he's missed him at the studio and he wants him to come for another drawing session because he needs to practice.
He wants him.
Yeah. I want you to improve, but also I want him.
He wants.
Yeah, but of course that's all in the subtext.
And we all know that Benedict is saving himself for Nandor.
Yeah.
The Relentless. Because in fact, Nandor is relentless. Sorry, okay, I will stop now. Actually, I will not. This will be the recurring thing in this episode.
And then the next interesting thing is, so we have Brimsley show up again. And Brimsley's another character where I'm like, we get so little of him, but I know I would be obsessed with him if we had more, so I'm excited to see him. Brimsley goes up to Eloise.
Oh, wait, no. Oh. Yeah. Sorry, there was just another thing that with the Queen that I just saw in my notes. Okay. Because after the Queen has made, I made a wager, Simon and Daphne, like, walks off, and she says, "You're so good at deceiving!" And he replies with, "Well, I learned from the best." And I was like,
yeah, that was like...
burn! She deserved that.
She did. She absolutely did. Because, I'm sorry, I keep going back to this, but she keeps shooting shots like she's been wronged in all of this, and I'm like, ma'am, these are the consequences of your own actions.
Seriously.
When will you learn?
Seriously. Well, yes, so Eloise and the Queen, she needs to know who Lady Whistledown is. Sorry, yes, I just had to.
Yes, and so Brimsley goes up to Eloise and says that the Queen needs to talk to her, and so when Eloise shows up, the Queen is like shooing everybody away because she's just excited to see what the tea is. But Eloise doesn't really have any solid leads, and so the Queen is like, wow, I had such high expectations for you. And shoos her off.
Yeah. Well, she was supposed to be the smart one, to quote the housekeeper a few episodes back.
Mm-hmm. But
yeah,
leads...
the Lady Danbury invites Daphne to a married women's club, which Daphne doesn't sound excited about, but honestly, any party by Lady Danbury, I'm like, sign me up.
And
sign me up.
As we'll go on to see, dear listeners, that party honestly looked the most fun out of all the other parties in the show so far.
Oh,
actually, yeah. I don't know. I suck at art. I feel like I would probably enjoy the bohemian soiree, but like, I can't draw for the life of me, so I would just leave feeling very insecure. But
I mean, any opportunity to see Benedict, that's like the only thing really with that soiree that I would be intrigued by. But, yeah.
In case you can't tell, dear listeners, I think Mags and I feel like you're also an Anthony girly, but or an Antony girly, but I'm also very much a Benedict girly.
I think my list goes Benedict for life. Anthony, yes. Francesca, she can get it.
Mm-hmm.
And then last place for sure is Daphne.
Yeah.
No, is it Colin or is it Daphne? I honestly don't know. They both give me the ick.
I mean, to be honest, I would take Colin over Daphne because at least, to be fair, I haven't seen the rest of the show yet, but at least from what I see, Colin isn't a predator.
Jeez. Oh well, but the Featherington, they show up late, and they're absolute social pariahs in this gathering of people, to the extent that they literally are shushed away.
Yeah, and of course, Brimsley. Lady Cowper has, like, the loudest voice to say about all of this and stuff, and, of course, I don't agree with a lot of Lady Featherington's coldness to people, or, like, her selfishness in a lot of ways, but I also can't really help but, like, feel bad for the Featheringtons in a way.
Yeah. No, for sure. It's not an optimal situation, but I mean, again, she could have thought this through a whole lot more and like sent Marina to like anywhere. That was not their house. But hey ho. Lady Featherington tries to talk to Violet by charming her, like, I had no idea. Nobody's buying
deceived
it.
By Marina, and Violet is like, Violet just gives her the cold shoulder and walks off because what else would she have to say? And then Oh, also before we forget to, Eloise kind of grabs Penelope and asks Penelope like how she's been, and Penelope has said that they haven't had a caller in days, and she also asks Eloise how Colin is doing because, at this point we're very much aware that she's like subtly but not so subtly in love with Colin. And
yeah.
Eloise, let's see. Sorry, I'm just going through my notes again, dear listeners, but they're discussing Lady Whistledown again, and Eloise says that Lady Whistledown has crossed a line, and they think that they really need to, or she's saying that she needs to uncover Lady Whistledown and have her write a retraction so that way the family can be restored again. So she's determined that she's going to do this because not only will it help her brother, but it'll also help her friend. And so she's like, okay, that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And then Brimsley goes up to the Featheringtons and says that they need to leave. And so they all walk out. Cressida, of course, Cressida Cowper makes a comment about them, and Daphne calls her out for being judgmental. At least Daphne's done something good so far.
Well, Daphne and Violet, they go off into kind of like the mace-looking kind of place, and Daphne is just having it out with her mom. Like, you didn't teach me anything about marriage, you stupid. Like, it's just kind of blaming. But I feel like it's also kind of letting some steam out for Daphne because she's obviously very frustrated.
Mm-hmm.
As you would be when you commit a crime.
Mm-hmm.
But so she's just off talking to Violet, which honestly is fair, and I hope that Violet does better with the rest of her kids. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, let's hope so.
After that.
Because at least with the boys of the family, she's not going to necessarily have to worry about the next one she'd have to talk to would be Eloise. Assuming Eloise were to be the next to get married, just due to girls being of age. I don't necessarily know.
No, actually, well, no, I'm not going to say anything.
Yeah, I know. Based on logistical order, if things were to go the way that me not knowing how the story ends up actually going, based on the order of ages, it would be Eloise next. And that sounds like it would be a tough conversation to deal with. So
that'd be pretty funny, actually. I would want to be a fly on that wall.
Oh my gosh.
Daphne visits the Featheringtons, and oh my gosh, the audacity of Lady F when she says, maybe you can offer an explanation for your mother's heated behavior. I'm like,
ma'am.
Ma'am?
Don't get so upset.
Admit when you're
Violet.
in the wrong.
Like, sure,
Admit when you're in the wrong.
Yeah, Violet gave the cold shoulder, but like there were much more rude people at that party.
Oh yeah, and like I feel like if anyone was going to give the cold shoulder, it was going to be Violet, which is like uncharacteristic for her because she seems like a lovely lady.
Yeah,
right?
she's usually quite empathetic, but it's hard too because the scandal has also kind of hit the Bridgertons as well. So I wouldn't necessarily have expected Violet to be quite so forgiving, especially because Lady Featherington and Marina were both kind of trying to pull the wool over Violet's eyes in a way to try to convince them that the marriage should take place. So I can understand where Violet's coming from.
Well, Daphne, she meets up with Marina. That's her point for going to the Featheringtons, and she decides, basically, in short, to help Marina find George because she can get an in with the general's wife or whatever, some military stuff. And she also, honestly, okay, so here's the thing that Daphne says where I'm like, you know what? You're so right. Because she says that George is the one at fault, not you. And I just wanted to applaud that. I'm like, thank you, someone who is actually not faltering Marina by just telling her that this is her fault. She should have kept her legs closed, which is like not fair because who seduced her? It was George.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, yes, she had a part in it, and like she consented and everything, and I mean, she couldn't have known better. Probably she couldn't. So, you know what? It's someone finally is being nice to Marina and actually standing in her corner of the ring. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of corner of the ring, Mr. F is about to go gamble more, and he meets up with Will to scheme.
Yes, he's desperate to try to have things go his way for once. So he tells Will that if he throws the fight and loses on purpose, that he will split his winnings with him and that he'll be able to get a big fortune for him and his family, essentially, and in turn also get himself out of debt. And Will is obviously skeptical about this because he doesn't want to sacrifice his honor in this situation. And Lord Featherington then really kind of pulls out the big guns and starts saying that like he's not seen as respectable and that his father was a soldier, and like he just really kind of starts digging into his family heritage. And so Will gets really angry and he's like, don't you dare speak about my family. And Lord Featherington says, look, I'm doing this for my family as well. If we just do this one thing, all of our problems will disappear. And so he says, just think about it, and then he leaves.
Yeah, no, I mean, I must say one thing to Lord Featherington is that he's got balls antagonizing a boxer.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Dang, like, the balls on that one. Look at that go. Well, it's girls' night at Lady Danbury's. Okay, Kaylin, question.
Yes.
Would you rather be at a sleepover with Anthony, the Duke, and Benedict, or a girls' night at Lady Danbury's?
Oh my gosh. To be honest, I feel like my first reaction is to be like, oh, well, I want the pajama party because I want to hang out with Benedict. But then I'm also like, but when I think about it for more than 2 seconds, I'm like, actually, no, Lady Danbury's soiree would be so much more fun. And I also feel like the snacks would be better too. I feel like if I were to show up to the pajama club party and be like, hey, do you have snacks? They'd be like, yeah, here's a box of crackers. And like nobody would actually open it the whole time.
Actually, Kaylin, it's canon that they have popcorn.
Oh, okay, that's fair. But I feel like Lady Danbury would be like, I've got snacks. Like, here's a whole display. It's color-coded. Like, they're, you know, fair. Like, I have lists of the ingredients alphabetized. If you have any allergies, like, you know, you will have the best time, like, regardless of, you know, whether or not you were planning on it. So I think I would have the best time at Lady Danbury's. Because I also feel like, too, she would be able to smell how anxious I was from a mile away. And she would be like, absolutely not. You're getting out of that. We're going to go have a good time.
Okay, fine. You win. Well, it is very convenient because the military dude's wife is at the party. Woo woo woo. And Kaylin. Mm-hmm. And Daphne sat right at the same table, and they get talking. And
they're all gossiping, but, you know, it's gossip with a purpose, because if there's one thing I love that Bridgerton does, it shows that, you know, ladies are more than just the habits that are deemed, you know, are deemed feminine. Like, a lot of people will deem kind of like feminine habits like gossip to be asinine, but there's a lot of, you know, valuable information being shared. There's lots of people, you know, paying special attention to getting details and getting information and stuff. And I'm just like, yes, you know, they are all smart, wonderful women having a great time and exchanging wonderful information. I'm enjoying this.
But I feel like I kind of took the wind out of your sails a bit when it came to the pajama club party. So if you would like to advocate Lady Danbury's party versus the pajama club party, I would love to.
No, I no, like the pajama party, like I'd be so down, because honestly all I want is to be in between the sheets with Anthony and Benedict, although it'd be a little bit weird that they're brothers.
That would be a little weird,
I guess. But it's one for the books, you know?
Someone out there has written fan fiction about it, I completely guarantee it.
Oh gosh, no, stop. But then also I don't know. I feel like it would be such a vibe.
It would be a vibe.
I'm wearing nice shirts. And just like, I don't know. I feel like it'd be really nice still, though. Like, yes, Lady Danbury's and like wearing pretty dresses and like hang out, play games and stuff. I'm an ambivert, dear listener. So this is like the hardest choice, because it's like either hang out in like a big social setting, which I love at times, or hang out in like a small cozy social setting, in which I at times love as well. So it's like, I really don't know.
I feel like both are very much a vibe, just in different ways. I would never turn down an invitation for either.
Yeah, no, that is your problem.
I will say, I think that One distinction I think I would, is worth making though, is like I was talking to my dad about this meme the other day about like the weird things that people come up with to like shelter for warmth with when they're staying at a friend's house and their friend doesn't give them a blanket. Anthony would 100% forget to give you a blanket. Benedict would give you a selection.
Oh yeah. No, for sure. Benedict has my heart.
Anthony
Yeah, no, that's
Anthony would
honestly
clock
the
it like
reason
2
why.
hours in and be like, "Oh my gosh, it's kind of cold in here. Do you want a blanket?" And you're like underneath the couch cushions or
Okay.
like the twister map blanket, and you're like, "Yeah, that'd be
Caitlin,
nice." Uh-huh.
marry, fuck, kill, Colin, Benedict, Anthony.
Kill Colin. No hesitation. I'm sorry. Okay.
You didn't hesitate.
Yeah.
You didn't
I
hesitate.
won't hesitate, bitch. Well, okay, so here's a loophole that I think people forget all the time with, sorry, dear listeners, I've never said the F word in my life, and I'm saving it for a special occasion, so I'm going to do F, marry, kill in this particular scenario. F, Anthony, marry, Benedict, but the thing is,
Oh, yeah,
people are just kind of like, oh, well, marriage, not F, it's not going to be like that kind of passion or anything, and I'm like, when I say I'm marrying Benedict, I'm signing up for a lifetime of
oh yes.
passionate romance, nights of amore with that man.
Yeah, no, same. I am so signing up. I don't know. I just feel like he's good at it.
Oh my gosh, he would be.
I don't know. And he is, I don't know. He just ticks the boxes. He
Yeah.
ticks my box, and I want him to tick my. Okay, I will stop. Simon has been avoiding Anthony's sleepover. It's not cool, bro. Anthony keeps seeing the opera singer, and he keeps like losing his focus that he's talking to Simon. They're like, "Hey, something's wrong with you and Daphne. Like something's up. What's going on?" And obviously, like Simon, like a lot of men don't want to talk about his abuser or rapist, and especially the brother of the abuser and freaking a rapist.
Yeah.
So he needs a large glass to deal with this. Anthony does, because he's like, I can tell something's up, something's wrong. But yeah, Anthony says that my sister's a capable woman. She's not capable of fucking up this badly. And I'm like, well.
Debatable.
Well. And they're literally just fighting it out. And I just wrote men. ...
Mm-hmm. That's a full sentence.
Well, Duke... They're fighting, and the Duke is licking his wounds because he broke glass on his hand. I'm trying to remember because I watched this like a week ago. And Daphne catches him and wants to help. Simon explains a bit more in depth of why he doesn't want to have children, and I feel like this should have been a conversation they had before they had children.
Exactly. That was my biggest gripe. Like, this should have happened so much more. It's not a fun conversation to have, but something, dear listeners, I've heard a while back that I think is such good gospel. There's this one YouTuber I love to watch. Her name is Kenny JD, and she does a lot of like TV series and movie reviews, and she has reviewed a lot of reality dating shows. And a lot of guys, in order to avoid being a bad guy or like a sucky guy, end up becoming the worst guy in the way that they avoid it. So, like, this is not to say that Simon is like the worst guy in this situation. It is not. This is not a way of like putting blame on him. This is to say like him avoiding having this discussion has resulted in Daphne, losing trust with him. However, it, that being said, it does not excuse or like, cause an explanation for what she did to him. But, it's just so much easier to have that uncomfortable conversation in the long run than to have things explode like this. It's just not worth it.
And it's also what's really frustrating in the scene is that Daphne belittles Simon's trauma.
Mm-hmm.
Where he is being vulnerable with her, telling her exactly why he doesn't want to have children. And she says, well, that sucks, but like, what about me? Like, she's so
Yeah, she was like,
So
she's like, you made
selfish.
a vow to never have kids. Well, you made a vow to me as well and stuff. And she says too, like a child would be a
Yeah.
blessing and stuff. And you, you know, he is like, he says it's something that means a lot to him. And so she's like, oh, so you hate your father more than you love me and more than you want us to have a happy life together. And she's like, well, I'm due to get my period soon, so we'll find out if we're going to be miserable together or happy apart. And I mean,
It's just like, can you be not belittle people's trauma, please?
no, it's,
Well, anyways,
yeah.
yeah,
Anyways, so
I hate to linger on it, so
yeah,
let's
let's carry
just
on. So we
carry
get a little
on. Well, the
montage
queen,
of
she's in a
actions.
really yeah, the queen is reading, I think, Lady Whistledown, if I remember correctly, in a really cute casual dress, which is like
Hmm.
strange to see the queen in. But you know, it's not as casual as one episode when she was just straight up naked in the
Oh
bath
yeah, being,
reading it.
yeah. But what one thing I loved is
Which
Lady Whistledown. She's reading an edition of Lady Whistledown, and the Queen is upset because Lady Whistledown says that there were no events worth mentioning, and the Queen threw an entire luncheon. And
I know that
so
was kind of funny. She
Brimsley's
was like,
like,
"Excuse
yeah,
me."
Brimsley's like, well, at least she didn't say anything bad about you. And the Queen's like, it's worse to say nothing.
Which is fair, honestly. That is so fair. I'd rather have like some smack talked about me than nothing at all. No, just kidding. I'm kidding. Please don't talk smack about me. I get very sad privately. Actually, I don't. Gosh, I'm a psychopath. Um well, the Duke and Duchess are not entertaining, so they must be enjoying nuptial bliss, lol. Well, Eloise is also trying to figure out who Lady Whistledown is, so she can get and to take back what they said about the Featheringtons. Same old, same old. Marina and Daphne talk about the general because I don't know what this note is.
She's so basically at the party she met the general's wife and figured out like where to send a letter to, and so she sent a letter out and she tells Marina that she did it, and then she's like, okay, well, did you like did you say it was from yourself or did you say it was from the Duke? And she's like, oh, well, it was my letter, so of course I said it was from me. And Marina's like,
And you
kind of
think he's gonna
like,
reply?
he's not going to reply to you, like he's more likely to reply to the Duke. And so Daphne's like, well, that's not necessarily true. And then Marina's like, okay, well, this is over. Thanks for trying.
Honestly, Marina is the smartest character in this TV show.
She is, and I feel
For
like
sure.
I feel like she's quite underrated in that regard
She is.
because she has, she has clearly thought through a lot of different things. So yeah.
She does. Well, Anthony and Colin have it out as well, and Anthony's like, hey, stop being stupid. And Colin is like, I'm gonna continue being stupid because my name is what? Colin. And Eloise is on an outing looking cute with a Daphne fringe. I don't know what outing it was she went to.
I don't quite recall.
We need to record these closer to when we watch because
I
don't
know.
remember. I do remember
Sorry, dear
Eloise
listeners.
having
It's been a while, but like, dear listeners, Eloise is talking to Penelope again about Lady Whistledown, and so they're discussing that it's possible that while Lady Whistledown is not a servant because she was roasted so heavily in a previous episode for thinking that Lady Whistledown was a servant, that it's possible that she might be a tradesperson because she would have access to events and get to hear gossip. And so she's kind of thinking, ooh, well, maybe it's the modiste. It could be her. Who knows? Lady Madame Delacroix. Because we have a little snippet earlier where Madame Delacroix said that she would certainly never want to cross Lady Whistledown. So Penelope is discussing, some of the details, like, oh, it's possible. And Eloise is like, oh, I'll tell the Queen my theory. We can do it together. And Penelope is like, okay, but I'm not going to be going to this event because we're pariahs. And Eloise is like, don't worry, I will restore your reputation upon my honor. She didn't say that, but yeah.
Seriously. Well, we're at a concert, and Benedict wants to know what's going on with Lord Granville and Lord Weatherby. We get a name to his lover boy, and Granville him and Lord Weatherby and Granville are in love, and I just think it's so cute. And he makes it like a little love speech where I was like, oh my gosh.
I loved
I
that. It
forgot
was really
entirely
nice.
about that.
It was
Where
really
he's
nice.
like, I risk my life every day. Where, like, honestly, there hasn't been that many people who've been condemned for sodomy in history. And sadly, all we know about homosexuality in Georgian and Regency time is from crime reports and Lister. Pretty much, like, that's it. Also some from our favorite podcast returnee, Lord Byron. But other than that, we don't know too much about homosexuality in Regency England or Georgian England. But hi, dear listeners. I just have to pop in as I'm editing this. Actually, we do know a fair amount about homosexuality in Georgian and Regency period. Like, not as much as we would like, but like scholars mostly use crime reports, as I said. However, there's also reports of like love letters and, you know, just people we know of in history that were queer. However, a lot of those that we do know of are of the aristocracy, and they were rather discreet and rarely ever punished for it or anything. But the people we know of in like the common focus from crime reports, sadly, we do have some wonderful Molly names they're called, from the era that we can find. I will send a link for Kaylin that she can put in the episode description so you can go research, because I have a dude that I absolutely love online who writes all about Georgian homosexuality and all of that. Sadly, there's not too much on lesbians, fellow lesbians out there, sorry. But I guess we were just more discreet, and also it wasn't really considered a crime either, which is also another whole other part of misogyny, I guess. But so sadly, there's not too much on it. I would recommend. I think her name is Anne Dahmer. If you want to read, she was pretty fun. My dear boy Horace Walpole's niece. No, some way related. But yeah, we do love a good lesbian in history, and also I am aware that Anne Lister did not live during the Regency era. She was slightly after, but also absolutely adore Anne Lister. Mwah. Kaylin, you can add on as much historical information as you want when you're editing the podcast. All right, love you, listeners. See ya. Back to the podcast. Hey, but we do know that there weren't that many people killed because of it. But still, you know, the sentiment is there. The sentiment is there.
Yes, it is. I also really want to add, there's this one bit that I really enjoyed where, so Benedict was like, well, how does your wife feel about this? And he was like, I have the protection of being married, and my wife has the protection and freedom that she desires. Like, we have a happier marriage than most of the people in this room.
Yeah. Yeah, and honestly, this is the love story that I want. I don't want the love story of Daphne Raperton, because, like, I'm sorry, it's just disgusting. I hate it. Mm-hmm. And I want Lord Granville to have more screen time, and just have him and his wife, like, working their life out, and Lord Witherby, I basically want Regency, Evelyn Hugo. That'd be great. Mm-hmm. Can we get that, please?
I would love that.
Please? Pretty please? Have you read Evelyn Hugo?
No, but I've heard of it.
It's good. Mm-hmm. It's so good. It's probably my favorite book that I read this year.
And then Benedict also gets called out as well, because Granville talks about the courage it takes to live like that. And he says Benedict talks a lot of doing that, but he never acts on it. Is it all talk? So,
does he?
Does he? Does he?
No. So yeah, it's Benedict the Bichrist Bridgerton in this episode, is all I'm saying. Well, Eloise debriefs the queen. The queen really doesn't care, because she doesn't need her help anymore, because she is going to catch Lady Whistledown on her own. So Benedict, who wants to leave, perfect for Eloise, out of a sudden wants to save Lady Whistledown. I feel like this has taken so many turns that I'm just like, I don't know if I should be invested. But hey, they both sneak off together. Marina, in the meantime, is in the kitchen of the Featherington house, mixing some random herbs together. We're to believe she is about to perform an abortion on herself. Which, like, we all know how that goes, don't we?
And
we're back in the carriage, and Benedict wants to pick up a friend. Are we bound to the rules of society? Please don't tell Mother. as she picks up Madame Delacroix, and things are really awkward in the carriage.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And Eloise said that she didn't have a meaningful conversation with anybody there when, she's trying to, like, make small talk with Madame Delacroix, and Genevieve Delacroix makes a very good point of saying that everybody was there except for the Featheringtons. And then Eloise kind of has, like, the math equations floating in front of her head with, like, the stuff that Madame Delacroix has said. And so she's like, maybe you are Lady Whistledown or something, but da-da-da-da. And then, yeah. And the prophecy is true, except it's not. And the Queen's concert starts, and Anthony is looking around, and he sees Sienna there, and she's with another man, and she makes eye contact with him briefly, but then she goes and, like, tenderly holds the hand of the man there that she's with. And then Marina, we cut back to her. She is drinking her tea, and we also see Simon and Daphne at the concert. They're about to grasp hands, but then Daphne looks down and gasps and frantically leaves her seat.
She's hit by cramps. That is probably the most accurate representation of what it feels like to get, like, the sudden cramps. And she just skeets out of there. And Violet sees what happens, so she runs after her. Penelope wants to have a talk with Marina, who she finds passed out on the floor of her bedroom.
And then we go back to Daphne, and Daphne is frantically wiping, and she sees that she has had her period and she is not pregnant after all. And she starts bawling while her mother comes in to comfort her. And then we cut back to see Simon watching the concert, and his eyes are welling with tears. And that is the end of the episode, dear listeners.
That is the end of the episode. Dun dun dun. Well, Kaylin, what did you think about this episode?
I mean, I was very much invested. I'm still frustrated. I can't, I can't give Daphne the grace that I think a lot of people seem to. So that's prohibiting me from really being able to invest myself in her as much. But for everyone else,
it's hard to give her the grace that the writer and directors and basically Bridgerton are expecting us to give, because I feel like a lot of the fandom struggles with Daphne as well.
Yeah. But as far as everybody else in the show, I'm very much invested in their stories and very excited to see what comes of all of this. Is Eloise going to catch Lady Whistledown? Is Benedict going to come to terms with who he is? Is Anthony going to make a grand statement and declare his love for Sienna? Only time will tell. So, shall we go to our little parameters for judging how crazy this episode was? I don't know. I don't know if I recall. I mean, the first thing I always kind of zoom in on is that Vitamin String songs. I don't know if I recall there being any particular covers in this episode. It's the only one I can
remember. Well, yeah, no, I can't remember either. Actually, again, it was a week ago I watched this episode, so I can't remember. But there was definitely some male brooding with Anthony.
Very much.
Like, he's our number one brooder.
Mm-hmm.
He was just like, Sienna.
Yeah, I'd say Colin was also very much brooding as well.
Lady Danbury is just like, her party wisdom is everything. Eloise is just per usual a pick-me girl. Like, there's a lot of alluding to Lady Whistledown. Daphne always wears new dresses. Someone is naked. Were there anyone naked in this episode?
I can't recall anyone being naked in this episode.
No, I don't think anyone was naked in this episode. Anthony's about to lose his mind. Yep, he beats up the Duke. The Featheringtons look outrageous. Yep. The Queen Charlotte on some screen.
We were blessed this episode, yeah.
We were pretty blessed in this episode. It is very much a filler episode, but it's still much better than the past one. So
yes, and the good thing is, next episode is the season finale, so we are sure to get quite a lot of action.
Oh yeah!
So all right, stay tuned, dear listeners.
It has been great podcasting with you today. This has been actually one of our better episodes, I think.
I think so too.
Yeah. Well, Kaylin, shall we wrap this up?
Absolutely. Thank you for listening to Two Girls, One Corset. If you enjoyed our podcast, be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform and leave us a review.
Don't forget to follow us on social media at 2girls1corset pod for behind-the-scenes looks, updates, and more period drama content.
And be sure to share the podcast with your friends who love all things romance and historical drama.
Until next time, keep your corsets tight and your hearts open.
Farewell, dear listeners.
Farewell!